Stupidity hurts my brain really badly. She's not supposed to be running. It clearly states in the video that she is coming off of sedation. Do you know what sedation is, or is that too much for your brain? Sedation is a sedative. Calms you down or makes you sleepy. If you go into surgery, say because you have a broken leg, they're gonna give you anesthesia and that's gonna sedate you. You're not gonna feel the fucking thing and you're gonna be asleep for it. Sometimes when you go to the dentist, they have to sedate you in a way. If you are having a psychiatric episode and you are being violent or aggressive, they can sedate you. Now, there's different kinds of sedations. Ones that just make you sleepy and make you calm enough and feel woozy enough to where you can't be violent and aggressive, or ones that completely knock you the fuck out. She got the one that knocked her completely the fuck out because she needed to be still for x-rays. So she was pre-medicated on top of getting the sedation from the vet. And then she got the recovery shot. She wasn't supposed to run around. She was supposed to be up and moving enough consistently for us and the vet to feel comfortable enough to bring her home. Because it's a liability for them to let us take her home when she is not ready and she is unable to walk herself out of that office. So, what we were trying to do was get her awake enough for that. Because she was still very, very sleepy and still very, very much on drugs. Even with the reversal/recovery shot to take back the sedation and bring her back, she was still stoned and still sedated. But we had to get her up and moving, not running. Running wasn't safe. And it has nothing to do with her having enough room. No. She wasn't supposed to be running. She just needed to be up and walking. And once we got her up and walking, can't lay back down. Because if she lays back down and she passes out again to snooze, she could die. Instead of snoozing, she's dead. That's a possibility. So we weren't letting her lay down. But she's not supposed to be running while she's sedated. That is not safe at all. She was even struggling with walking, but that wasn't because of the size of the room. It was because she was drugged. So we could check on her health, considering she's 6 going on 7 this year, and is a service dog that does mobility, and that I'm trying to get into sports. X-rays were very much needed. And for x-rays, all dogs, almost every single dog is going to be sedated for x-rays. It is safer that way, and it takes up less time because the x-rays come out clearer, because then you don't have a dog that's moving. So, had nothing to fucking do with the size of the room, had everything to do with she was drugged. So we could check on her health. It states, trigger warning, dog recovering from sedation after getting x-rays. How stupid can one be to not know what sedation is? Or at least not be able to read that that's what that says. Like, are we serious? She didn't even want to get up and walk. She wanted to lay down and sleep. She didn't like being up and walking. She just wanted to fucking snooze because she was so drugged up. And we couldn't let her snooze for very long. It had to be in increments. I set her up in the craft room with me while I did beads and all that, and I would let her sleep for a little bit, and then every 3-ish minutes I made kissing noises at her until she picked her head up and I could confirm that she was still alive. The sedation and her being on drugs made her breathing very, very shallow. So I couldn't just look at her and see if she was breathing or not, even with my glasses on, because her breathing was shallow. Excuse me, meaning her lungs weren't expanding as much as they could and normally would if she was breathing normal. But she wasn't, because she was drugged. For her own good. It's honestly better because she also hasn't had great experience at the vet, so her being sedated makes it so much easier. Sunday I might take her for a happy day. We are trying to get her used to the vet, more comfortable, make it a positive experience, things like that. So Sunday might do that. I don't entirely know. But what I do know is my dog was sedated, so we could get clear x-rays to see if she should continue to do mobility and if she could do sports. The answer is inconclusive now that a few people have pointed out some things about her x-rays for her hips. So the vet is going to call me at some point this week. She wasn't working today when I called, so she might call tomorrow, she might call Monday. Who knows? Either way, she's gonna call me and we're gonna talk more in depth about her x-rays. But no, a sedated dog shouldn't be running or really moving around too much, just enough to make sure that they can walk and that there's no issues of, after being sedated. Because a dog, after being sedated, and even that looks fine and seems fine during recovery, could still die. Especially, not especially, but even healthy dogs can die after being sedated. There's always a risk, and there is no promises that a dog will recover nicely from being sedated, ever. There is no guarantee. Never has been. So, we just needed her up and walking. Vet said get her up and walking if possible, and then that after she got another vaccine, that we could leave. So, that was that. But no, sedated dogs shouldn't be running around. It's not safe. If they can barely walk, even after having the recovery shot, then yeah, no running. But people who get sedated for after surgery, before surgery, and or when they're having a psychiatric episode, yeah, they shouldn't be running around either. They're not going to have the energy to, and 2, they're not going to be able to figure out how to run because their brain's going to be extremely foggy. So, try again.